we're gonna play a game.
Alright guys, this one's going to be Juno View today. This one's going to be Juno View for the Walking Dead universe and the Walking Dead franchise here for Dead City, leading up to episode 4 of Dead City. We're now in the middle point of season 3 of Dead City. That is insane. This is flying by really quick. I'm sure we're going to get a renewal for season 4 pretty soon as well too. That's seeming very likely. There's been a lot of talk about that. So we have a lot of comments and questions from you guys. I'm going to do some today, and you guys already know the deal. We'll do the rest tomorrow. So we'll do a 2-day, Q&A sesh here. But yeah, let's get right into this, folks. So Paul says, Q&A, agree or disagree on this, Dan? The perfect way to write off Annie and get rid of Negan's family without killing them is if when Negan ever goes back to the sanctuary and the bottle episode of Dead City, he sees Dwight. It makes sense that Annie would be there since Annie knows about the Commonwealth and joined communities. It also would make sense that Morgan would be there because Rick would already have been home for years at this point in the timeline, so they can save the Morgan and Rick reunion for the crossover in a flashback. Also, Morgan left Padre to be looked after Madison, so it makes sense that Morgan, to help Dwight, lead the Fear characters who went to the Sanctuary after he finds Rick, given how close the Sanctuary is. Imagine this scene. Negan walks into the Sanctuary and a grown-up woman who doesn't recognize him is taking care of his son. Then the person taking care of his son is revealed to be a recasted grown-up Mo. Then Negan sees Annie and Morgan together, and Annie is pissed at Negan for sending her and his son away. Annie wants nothing to do with Negan, and she tells Negan to get out of here and never come back. Then Dwight makes a remark along the line of, sucks when another man is banging your wife, huh? And Morgan and Daniel Salazar escort his ass out. Damn! Damn! I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. That's actually a pretty hilarious situation. So, okay, so what you're saying basically is that Dwight and Sherry are in charge of the Sanctuary. Negan goes there, runs into Annie, and before that, he's greeted by a grown woman who is turned out to be Mo. And Mo and Morgan are staying at the Sanctuary, helping Dwight and Sherry rebuild the place. And you find out that Morgan got in a relationship with Annie over the years. And Morgan and Annie are lovers now. And Morgan is now, kind of like the father figure for Negan's son. And Annie hates Negan now for what he did, for turning her away. And now Morgan's with Annie. Wow. And then Dwight would say, yes, sucks when someone's banging your wife, right? I love it. You know what, Paul? I actually completely love it. I think that would actually be such an interesting twist because you would never, ever, ever expect to see Morgan with Annie. That would, throw everybody off. But it's been many years at that point since Grace died. Maybe, maybe, that's the only part, I would find it a little bit hard to believe that Morgan would be with anybody else after Grace and his wife and all that, but then again, I found it hard to believe that he'd be with Grace after his wife anyway, and then he was, you know what I mean, so maybe he moves on and stuff like that, so maybe, no, I don't disregard that either, though, I feel like maybe it's possible, so one of the things that I think would make sense is that Annie would just not be with Negan anymore. That's definitely something for sure. What's sad is I feel like they're going to try to write Annie off, which sucks. I kind of hope that, you're onto something with that, Paul, though. I think that'd be cool to have Maggie, and Negan maybe go to the Commonwealth, and then Negan sees that, and then he's like, what the hell, And he sees Morgan, because Morgan and Negan, that's a duo that never interacted. They never had interactions, But now in the end, Morgan actually is with Annie, and Morgan actually is the reason that Negan doesn't have a family, Damn. That's pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of, I'm picturing the situation in my head, and I'm like, that could work. It's hard to say if they'll ever do anything like that, but I would be okay with it. I'd probably make a couple tweaks along the way, but I would genuinely be down for that. You know, one thing that I will say, and a lot of people would disagree with me with, like, I always talk about Mo coming back when Morgan returns, you know, if Morgan ever actually returns. But, you know, and everybody always says, like, Dan, why would you put Mo in there? Like, Mo sucks. Like, Mo's terrible. I'm like, yes, in Fear she sucks. And I wouldn't bring that actress back either. The actress was a little, no offense to her, but she's just, you know, wasn't the greatest. But if you got an older actress and you wrote Mo more correctly, I think Mo would actually be a good addition, because I like Morgan having a kid. You know what I mean? Like, I want that for the crossover when they do it. So I would put Mo in the crossover. I would, because I think that's an important piece of the story. You know what I mean? You know what's funny though, Paul? Your situation that you just came up with is literally something you can do in Dead City. You don't have to wait till the crossover to do that. Like, you could literally show that in season 4 or something, and like, they find Dwight and Sherry, and you find out Morgan's here as well with his daughter, and then Morgan hooked up with Annie, and then Negan's now just like, what the hell? And Dwight rubs it in his face, you know, that Negan doesn't have a family and stuff like that. Damn, Paul. Honestly, I wish you wrote Dead City, because I think a lot of us would be pretty entertained. I like that. Let's say if I was helping you, you know what I mean? If we wrote Dead City together, I'd say, Paul, take that idea. Let's go with it. Let's get Morgan. Let's get Lenny James on set. I'll, you know, maybe like, you know, I'll take the reins of maybe writing how Maggie Negan get there, and I'll help out some stuff. I'll be like, we're going to do it Paul's way. We're going to do that. And then we're going to do, you know, the stuff in New York City. Maybe I'll do some of that, you know what I mean? And then we could, you know, do all that. That'd be cool, eh? Wouldn't that be cool, Paul, if we could work together, right? The Walking Dead, you know, maybe make it better than it actually is right now. That'd be great. But anyway, would love it. I'm not joking, y'all. Like, I would write with some of you guys, you know what I mean, to fix The Walking Dead. I really would. Because just that situation right there, I could write with someone that writes like that, you know what I mean? And I could genuinely be like, okay, let's you know, go from here and see how we do this and that, you know. Man, that'd be so damn good. I'm getting ahead of myself now, but that'd be so exciting. Gerdul says, Q&A, hi Dan, if you had to choose the setting for the next spinoff, where would you choose? I would choose Brazil or Africa, since we barely got anything from them. I've always wanted a Walking Dead Canadian show. That's just my roots. I'm Canadian, so I'm obviously going to go with Canada. I would love to see Toronto in The Walking Dead. I would love to see maybe Quebec in The Walking Dead, or maybe even Montreal. I think that'd be really creative, and I think that'd be really cool. So I'm going to go Canadian Walking Dead show for sure. New cast of characters, though. Stop bringing our known characters over there. New cast of characters, brand new charming characters. Get some lumberjack looking dudes. You know, have all the Canadian stereotypes you want. I don't care. That'd be great. So let's see here. TWDPR says, Q&A, do you think that now that the Statue of Liberty is on, there's a good chance of bringing Dwight and Sherry using the narrative of the new people coming onto the island? No, I don't think so, because I think they're not this season at least. If they bring Dwight on Dead City, well then hell, you can do 5 seasons, you know what I mean? Because I want to see him for a couple seasons, you know? Like, let's say like Dwight came in season 4, I wouldn't want 4 to be the end at that point. I'd be like, no, let's maybe just do 5 so we can get a couple seasons, you know what I mean? Because God knows where they'll send him packing after that, you know? But no, not this season, so I don't think it'll be the light, but I do think there's a chance of him still at some point in the show, but I don't think it'll be this season. The Reels critic says, Q&A, Dan, with your emphasis on the conflict between Negan and Renata having Maggie stuck in the middle of this season, how would that affect the rumored potential relationship between Maggie and Louis if Maggie does something to Renata to help or save Negan? Yeah, I think that relationship would fall apart. It would. Like, if Maggie and Louis has, like, a relationship this season, yeah, at that point, you may have to kill both of them. You know, that might actually get pretty dark. So, either that, or maybe Louis will understand that his sister lost her mind, you know what I mean? Something like that. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm still also wondering what's going to happen when they find out that Negan killed the Dama, that she didn't take herself out. You know what I mean? That's the other thing I'm wondering about. But yeah, that probably will end tragic. But I mean, you know how these spinoffs go. They have new characters on for 1 season and then they kill them off, you know? Same with Dillard. Like, I feel like Dillard's going to die by the end of this season. You know, that's Jimmy Simpson. You're not going to keep him forever, you know? That's one of the things about the spinoffs that I kind of come to accept at this point, is that it's like, you know that a lot of the new characters won't last past the season that they're in. And that's unfortunate. You know, like, what's her name on Daryl Dixon? Paz, right? Paz, she's really good. I liked her in season 3, but for a damn fact, she's going to go off with her girlfriend, and that's, we're probably never going to see her again, So it's kind of unfortunate they do that, but, I'm not surprised at the same time. The next one comes from Poet, says, Q&A, Dan. Do you think Maggie and Negan will eventually become the leaders of the hospital, combining the strategies of the Sanctuary and Alexandria, using a balanced combination of fear and kindness to protect it? Also, where do you think Dillard's character is heading? I feel like his zombie psychosis is going to get people killed. Might have to be a look at the flowers situation with Negan. Well, in terms of the leadership, yeah, Maggie and Negan will take over for sure. I think Maggie and Negan will be the leaders of the hospital. I even can see a situation where, let's say their bad guys get out of control, and I think this would be kind of cool. Imagine like there's a bunch of people, right, that are like out of control, and this is what I would like to see. Imagine a bunch of bad guys are out of control, and like they're chasing after these bad guys because they attacked their community. And imagine Maggie and Negan and them shine like a spotlight on these people, and then Negan walks out and like out of the darkness and says like, everybody line up and get on your knees. And Maggie's just standing there like, yep. Wouldn't that be crazy? And then when Maggie sees it, it kind of triggers her for a minute, but then she's like, oh, we were those people. Yikes. That would be pretty cool. And then Negan would take the, Lucille bat and, you go one for one. And you'd just be sitting there like, Maggie is helping him do this with other people? Damn. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we've moved on and then some, I don't know. Almost like they don't intentionally do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like they run after maybe some people that attack them. Like they're chasing them in the woods. And then you as the viewer, they don't even have to say anything. You just know like, wait a minute, this feels familiar, And then you got like Negan whistling and stuff, and then they shine a light on these people, they line them up or something, in front of some trucks, and then Negan's like, all right, yeah, which one of you is gonna die, And then Maggie's kind of just standing there like, oh God, we're those people now, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, the people that are lined up, like, they deserve to die, right? Like, it wouldn't be like it's like innocent people or anything, but it would kind of just be like one of those things where it's like, wow, this is how Negan gets revenge, That would be crazy. I genuinely wish they would write something like that, where it's like they got all these bad people that attack them, they line them up at night, and Negan doesn't just kill one, he doesn't just kill two. No, he kills every single one of them in like a montage of like, boom, boom, and then you see Maggie like, Negan kills another one. And then, like, Maggie looks at, like, Louise and, like, Renata. Maybe they look, like, really horrified. And then it cuts to Negan killing another one, And then it cuts to, like, Renata, and then she looks pissed, And then Negan kills another one, And you're just like, whoa. Like, that would be cool. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like that'd be such a cool sequence. I just think that'd be so interesting. So, yes, I think using strategies of Sanctuary and Alexandria to protect this place, I think would be really cool. And then as for Dillard, yeah, I think he's going to go crazy. I think we're dealing with a villain here, unfortunately, which I kind of don't want, because I like Dillard as a character so far. I think he's fun. He's, kind of a fun, friend character for Negan, but I think someone's going to end up taking him out. It's Jimmy Simpson. Like I said, you're not going to keep him forever. That's just not going to happen. The next one comes from Simba, who says, Q&A, hey Dan, how excited are you honestly to see Beth come back for an episode this season? I'm gonna be honest with you, Simba, couldn't care less about it. Couldn't care less about it. You guys know me with Beth. I've said this multiple occasions, and a lot of people get pissed off because they're not happy that I don't like Beth, They don't like that I don't like her, and they're like, Dan, how dare you, this and that, Well, you can yell at me in my comment section. Yell at me politely, you know what I mean? That type of thing. Look, I don't feel anything for Beth. I never did, not even in the original show. She's one of the few characters on the original show that I didn't like her. I found her to be whiny and complainy and just, all this stuff. She built a pretty good bond with Daryl, but, like, aside from that, like, the stuff with, the hospital and this, and I even felt her death was dumb, too. Like, she just, she could have easily walked away, like, but she didn't, and I'm just like, I don't know. I just found Beth was really stupid, and Emily did a good job for what she does. I got nothing against her. It's just, I don't care about the character. Not to mention, another reason I don't care about it, Simba, is because it's a dream episode, or like a what-if episode, whatever it's gonna be. So it's like, it's not like Beth is actually there, so it's kind of like, who cares? You know, like, that's kind of, I guess that's just kind of my mindset, you know? Like, they were hyping that up, like, hey, guys, Beth is coming back. Ooh, you know, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm more excited to see what Negan's doing. You know what I mean? I'm more excited to see what Maggie's doing. I'm not really that interested in seeing a what if, you know? To me, that's like, you know those animes you watch? We reviewed One Piece yesterday, by the way. Check that out if you're a fan of One Piece. But that's an anime, right? Animes sometimes do like filler arcs, you know what I mean? They do like filler storylines that, like, people don't like. They're little spacer episodes. That's what I think episode 6 is going to be like. It's like, oh yeah, this is cool, but do I really need to watch this? Not really, you know? I'm not going to take that one too seriously. Like, that one, it's going to be straight up, like, after episode 5, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to turn my brain off on Walking Dead for 2 weeks and watch some nonsense, you know? So, but maybe it's good, because I know Gimple had the same opinion. Apparently, Gimple said, he was like, yeah, why would you ever do an episode like that? And then apparently Gimple watched the episode, then he was like, damn, okay, I have to admit I was wrong. Like, this is actually brilliant. So maybe it is brilliant. I don't know. But I mean, do we really take his word that seriously? No. But, you know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I really could care less about Beth returning at the moment, but we'll see where it all goes. Maybe I will at some point. We will see. And then the last one here comes from Ironer, says, Q&A, Dan, do you think the series loses something when it doesn't have the main antagonist? They dropped the ball massively on the Dama, but I can't help but feel successful TV series, especially with the context of The Walking Dead needs a villain, or does not appear currently. We're going to get that. So you think something's missing that we don't have a villain right now? Not really, because I was so spent on the Dama and Croat and all that stuff. I mean, I like the Croat, don't get me wrong, but Dama I couldn't frickin' stand. I hated that character so much. There's a reason I didn't like episode 2, because the whole episode was like, oh, should we keep her alive? Should we not? I'm like, just shut up and kill her, you know what I mean? Like, when Negan walked in there, I was like, yeah, you know, like, let's get her done, you know? And then they didn't show him kill her, and I was like, man, well, okay. So, luckily episode 3 didn't do that nonsense. When there was gore in episode 3, they showed it. That's why episode 3 was really good. But, you know, the thing is I'm good with no villain for a few more episodes, because one of the charms about The Walking Dead Season 1, and why I always compliment that season, is because it was character-centric. Walking Dead Season 1 did not have a villain. It didn't. And it was all about characters surviving, trying to build the right place, trying to find the right place too, but trying to build a safe place for people to live. And we haven't had that in a franchise like this for a while, you know? It's always been, oh, Dama's dead, well, let's do this, you know? Oh, this happened here, well, this happened, you know? Madame Ginet's dead, well, let's bring in the King of Spain, you know? Like, they never take a pause and actually sit there and be like, okay, you know, let's try to survive for a few episodes, you know? Let's run into some people and try to actually, you know, build something different, you know? And I think that's a good, you know, change and switch up that we haven't seen for a long time. So I'm down with it, honestly. As long as they continue to do it right, I'm good with what they've done. Maybe a villain towards the end of this season, you know, setting up for season 4, because I do think by season 4, yeah, we'll have to have a villain somewhere. But for right now, I'm good with how things are going. You know, I'm good with them just, you know, kind of going place to place, trying to build the place up, you know what I mean, stuff like that. I'm all right with watching that. But once you get near the end of this season, you get into season 4, yeah, by then I would like a villain, for sure. I mean, there's always going to be somebody that disagrees with what Maggie and Negan are doing eventually. You know, eventually you're going to have that person that comes in there and they try to dictate what they're doing. So I'm sure that's when that'll kind of start coming in here. So yeah, great comments, guys. Great questions. We'll have more, of course. Tomorrow, of course, we'll wrap up the rest. But thank you all so much for your amazing comments and questions. Definitely post your comments down below. And if you guys are new to the channel, you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos. Make sure to follow me on Dan's Reviews Official on Scum, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys very soon for more videos very soon. Enjoy the rest of the day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected every plot twist beat. World gone mad, TV junkies hit a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a street fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shedding TV light.